Page 346, Prelude number 1. Well, this thing is a puppy. Chopin did an etude with this style of arpeggio in it. It's really gorgeous. And it helped me out a great deal on cleaning it up and straightening it out. Because this pattern in this first few measures in the right hand, in my opinion, is a rather tricky pattern to play. Anyway, let's look it over. It's a page long. Treble bass clef, no sharps or flats in the key signature, either in C major or A minor. If we look at the last chord, that mess at the end, that's an A minor chord. It's an A minor chord in that second inversion, but this is root, so it's an A minor chord. Doesn't matter. Do the scales and arpeggios for both C major and A minor. Probably 2 octaves by now if you aren't doing them. And 4/4 time signature. This right hand, let's talk about this. You're in this position. And then you're in this position up here. And then you're back down here. And you're going back and forth. And this is a tricky one to do. If you're not doing the arpeggios, like I've been asking you to do now forever, when you get to something like this, it's next to impossible. And some teachers, well, the pedal will help you out. I hate that. The pedal isn't there to help you out. The pedal is there to enhance the sound, the music. You need to do this on your own, on the fingers. In my opinion, I'm a mean teacher. But if you would do the wrist drop in the accents like I suggest, you can learn to play this tricky pattern rather well. So as you just take it slow, real slow, accent every note, drop the wrist on every note. How fast you go is up to you, but keep it slow. That's probably should be doing it around 50 or so, because we're going to speed it up a little bit. But this is here. You do that. And this bit, you get that in the arpeggio, and if you do the tremolo exercise, this becomes less difficult over time. And then we'll take it at 2 beats, or 2 notes per beat, and accent and drop the wrist here. It'll take a while, but take your time. You should be doing it in both hands, but let's do this. Now try 3 beats. That gets tricky because it's in 4-beat patterns, but do it 3 beats any, triplets. 1 and 2 and you get the idea. And then 4, like it's written. But make sure you're dropping the wrist and you're accenting these. It's really important. It wouldn't hurt to try accenting the different ones. Instead of starting here, start here and accent those. And then here, accent that. So it's a pickup. Something like that. And then accent the 4th finger. So pop, 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 here, go up. It's like a pickup. You're accenting each one. And again, we're going a little fast. You really should be closer to 40 or 50 when you start speeding it up to 4 beat. Do it the same way, or the same approach I do in the arpeggio videos. Really ought to do it with both hands, but the way it's written, it's just easier to go ahead and just do it in the right hand. At least you can get the right hand working. Then when you go to do the left hand, you'll have the right hand to help it out a little bit. Guide it along. It's really better to do it in both hands. So don't use the pedal to be helping you out. Learn to do this with the hands. Learn it first without the pedal. I'll talk about the pedal a little later. Rhythm-wise, it's just all 8th notes. All you got to do is figure out what these notes are in the right hand. You get to measure 7. It's here. 2, and then 3. It's like a A minor scale. That's all we did. I mean, fingering was a little different than the scale because the notes are a little jumbled up, so we have to adjust. But if you can do the scale, you can make these adjustments pretty easily. The last measure, that mess at the end, that chord, we'll spell it out. The bottom note in the chord, that's an E. And then one ledger line here. And then they've stuck in another note. See that weird looking thing sticking out there? That's another whole note. It's a B. And then a C, and then an E. Isn't that neat? Just gives it a little edgy, little classy sound. Not just a, it's here. It's like, yeah. Well, it seems appropriate since you had all this torture going on before. Okay. Left hand. Well, left hand, fortunately, isn't quite so bad. Just, you can follow the fingering in the book if you want. It's fine. The first line, if you don't want to go 1, 2, 1, 2, you just stay there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You do that. It doesn't matter. You decide on the fingering you want, or your teacher will help you. But we'll just do what the book is saying, I suppose. 3. And then measure 9. Now it's an AC and a G natural. We don't really need the natural sign there, but it helps to make it clear. So, okay, we'll do it. And again, measure 13. You don't need the natural, but it doesn't hurt being there. It makes it clear. And I hope the rhythm is okay for you. I'm hoping you can read these rhythms by now. Measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, measure 17 still gets more interesting because now you got to go from here to here. You got to move a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then all the way down, that is octaves. The bottom note is 3 ledger lines below the staff. You need to just memorize a note. 2 ledger lines, I hope you already know, is a C. And that's one more, it's an A. So then we attempt to put the hands together. What could possibly go wrong? We'll just go really, really, really slow and hesitate if you need to, okay? It's here. And here. So there's not much going on there. Let's go down to measure 9, where you got rhythm in the left hand. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. You can see how the notes line up between the staves, so you can see which 8th note the left hand is playing with, and keep the rhythm that way too. And when you get down to measure 17, you got to look down at the piano for this. But by now you should have this right hand pretty much. I mean, you can look down at the piano long enough to the right hand's right there. You're not moving. So I can look down at the keyboard for that because the right hand's. So go through and you put the hands together and then go back over it very slowly and carefully and get rid of the hesitations. Take it as slow as you need to. You could go throughout the whole thing. Doesn't hurt. You can do the wrist drop and the accent just like I did before if it'll help to smooth out this. The natural accents. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Exaggerating them so you can hear them better, and you certainly don't go that fast. But the idea is that for years and years I could not do this pattern because I didn't do scales and arpeggios. I didn't like them, didn't want to do them, and it would be. And it was just a mess. Well, do those scales and arpeggios, and when you get this stuff in the music, you just do it. Yeah. Then once I have that, I get rid of the hesitations, and then I think about the articulation, which here, it's pretty much connected. With these 8th notes, I'm going to suggest just connect them. The phrases, it appears to be 2 major phrases, but you don't have time to lift up between the phrases. And the pedal covered up anyway, but I'll talk about the pedal in a minute. So just connect it. It's pretty connected all the way through. Dynamic, soft, and swell up to moderately soft or moderately loud and come back down. Soft, soft. So you're going up to the top. You're getting heavier as you go up and lighter as you're coming down. And then second line, now it's the crescendo and decrescendo, the swell. It's 4 measures instead of 2. You're going to go up. You're going up to about a moderately loud and staying there for a while and then come down. And it ends loud at the bottom. You're soft. You gradually go up to loud. And here, yeah, just loud, heavy. Let the wrist collapse a little bit. Don't pound on it. Let the wrist collapse a little bit. Now, as far as the speed goes, flowing forward, it's got to be accurate. What can you do with these eighth notes? If that's fast enough, that's good enough. If that's it. Again, this is one of those pieces you can come back to over and over time. You'll play it faster and better each time and have fun with it. Now, there's a retardando, a couple of them actually. There's one at the end of the second line, so you're going to slow down. And then take off again, alt tempo. I suggest with the alt tempo, just take off again. You can accelerate into it if you want. So again, measure 8 is here. You can accelerate and then take a couple, 3 notes to accelerate up. Or just instantly go. It's interpretation. Try them both and see what you like. You get the same thing in measure 16 where you're slowing down. Again. And then the last few measures slow down. Yeah, slow down. How much you slow down, that's interpretation too. It's up to you. Kind of depends on how fast you're going to begin with. Now the pedal. Let's talk about this beast on the pedal. My opinion, it messes it all up. But I think it adds an overall effect, and it might be the effect the composer's after. Because what you don't do is use pedal to cover up what you can't do with the hands. I used to do that. Most people do it. I can't quite get it with the hands. I'll use the pedal as a crutch to help me out. I'll fake it. It's basically, I used to do that too, till I learned how to play properly, and then you learn a piece without pedal first, and force yourself to get the fingers and everything right. And then when you add pedal, you have a lot more leeway on how you want to use the pedal. Now, the way they show it, we'll start with that and see what we get, is it's going to be overlapping pedal. And because the eighth notes go by so quick, you're going to have to pretty much change the pedal when you change the notes. You can't overlap it too much or you'll lose the eighth notes because they're not down very long. And you're changing it pretty much each measure until toward the end when they give you the pedal indications again. Now, you have a simile on the third measure. That means keep doing what you're doing. That's why I'm saying you're pretty much changing it on each measure throughout until measure 16 when they give you the indications because the pedal changes a little bit, so they have to give you more pedal instructions. And then on measure 18, they give you another simile, which means keep pedaling it that way, all the way to the end, whichever. But at the beginning, I'll put the notes down and pedal pretty much at the same time because this goes too fast. It's the idea. Throughout the whole thing is that way until measure 16. Now it's here. You get the idea. Anyway, you're adding the pedal. I'm going a little fast to shorten the video, but you take it at your speed, just nice and slow. It doesn't sound very good when you go slow. The effect is better when you go fast because it gives a misty feel to it. It's here. It gives a misty feel to it. this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. Well, the rhythm shouldn't be a problem. It's the notes. I'm going to leave the pedal out. You hear the notes better without the pedal. So I'll give us 4 quarter note counts to come in. Now I put the metronome on 8th notes, so it's beating 8th notes. Here, 1, and that's... We're going to go that fast. Make sure you can play it that fast, okay, or this won't work. Even one hand at a time if you need to. And I'm not doing dynamics now. We're not performing it. We're just checking notes and rhythms. 1, and 2, and ready, and go, and... and 3 and 4 and